This show is just so incomprehensibly bad that I'm actually confused by it, but let's discuss the new Amazon Prime Like a Dragon Yakuza TV show. Now, I am a big fan of Yakuza. I've been playing the games for quite a while now. Everything, main entries, spin-offs, Judgment, Inshin, all of it. But I wanted to come at this sort of from the casual viewpoints with all these adaptations, whether it is the Resident Evil movies or something like the Halo TV show. The obvious point is to be accessible to newcomers, to tell people, here's the universe, enjoy it, here's a cool story, and if it's good to you, go check out the video games, right? Well, the biggest problem with the Yakuza TV show is that every part of it, from the story, is completely butchered, the acting makes absolutely no sense, the set design, the time period, just every part of this, even the tone, it completely slaughters the original vibe of Yakuza, and I have no idea why. So this is going to be sort of an off-the-cuff, deep dive review from a hardcore fan of Yakuza with a big question of why. Let's get into it. Hi, hope you're having a great day, and if you could, please give this video a like and subscribe if you haven't already. Now, let me start with some positives. I do want to say that all the actors, all the actresses, everybody that is in this, the entire cast clearly cares. I do think that they're just given terrible scripts, but across the board, every line of dialogue, every single set piece, all the fight scenes and stuff are incredibly well done. I feel like people definitely in this, there is a lot of heart and soul with what they're trying to do. The problem is that the story is just nonsensical gobbledygook. The way they've chosen to portray this is as two separate timelines. 1995 with a bunch of kids in an orphanage that end up joining the Yakuza, and then flashing forward to 2005 when Kiryu gets out of prison, a decade-long prison sentence, and him trying to meet up with his old friends from the orphanage and get back into the Yakuza and settle old bets and stuff like that. But the biggest problem is that within these two time periods, the events are incredibly out of order. Throughout the entire show, it clicks back and forth at seemingly random intervals, so sometimes you'll see a piece of a story here where they're talking about a heist or lost money or people trying to build a giant tower, so they're stealing contracts and stuff like that, and you click to a completely different timeline, like somebody as a kid talking about manga, and then clicking to the future, and now they're in a manga shop that they own. But the manga shop gets blown up, and now we get another flashback to the 80s of somebody reminiscing about their mother accidentally offing themselves. Like, this constant fluctuation makes it where you can't really be that emotionally attached, because even when these characters are actually selling an incredibly good scene or actually talking about a deep, heartfelt moment, since it keeps clicking back and forth, these different threads never come together to actually make a good narrative tapestry. But I'll talk about it. The biggest part of this that absolutely falls apart is the show is no fun. You know what? I'm just going to say that, all right? This takes a lot of events, a lot of cues, a lot of main plot points from Yakuza 0 and Yakuza 1. Now, some people don't like Yakuza 1 as much, or even the remake, Kiwami. I really, really, really love it, but some people don't like it because the early games were definitely much darker, but as the franchise has gone on, they've gotten a lot more goofy. They cut out 100% of the humor from the video games, every bit of it. There's no karaoke, there's no arcades, there's no hanging out, there's no silliness at all. It is a purely bleak crime story set in Japan, and the reason I feel like this is such an utter mistake is because not only are the games incredibly funny, but I feel like those memes are what have led to its popularity, and as the franchise has gone on, they've gotten funnier till the point of the newest game that came out this year, Infinite Wealth, where you're delivering pizzas and doing tricks on a Vespa in Hawaii and trying to infiltrate crazy crime syndicates. I'm annoyed that they took away the humor because I think that's a big part of what makes Yakuza, Yakuza. Look, I said this in a video like 5 years ago when I reviewed Yakuza 6. And what I said in that video is I said, the side quests, the side content are the most important part of Yakuza, because when you're exploring cities and going around Kamurocho and trying to help people find lost cats for a kitten cafe, or trying to settle a silly wager at a local arcade by trying to beat a grandma or darts. Those are real things. You run into time travelers. There is a mission where Yakuza, oh god, there is a mission where Kiryu has to try and figure out how to cyber with a girl online. Like, he actually literally gets on a computer and goes to an internet cafe and tries to tell a girl to show him his boobies. It is so funny. They took all that out. The reason that stuff works so well is because Kiryu, being a serious character, he always has this soft side in him, you know? That's the reason he's paying for an orphanage. That's the reason he's trying to just help out his friends and stuff like that. So the fact that they removed all of the passion, all of the emotion, all of the softness in this show, Kiryu is just a murder machine. All he does is fight. He never shows that much emotion. It is just such a baffling choice. Now, I will say, the way they've chosen to do this, the cinematography, the director of photography for this and stuff, every shot looks great. The lighting is good. The set pieces themselves, the sets they've constructed. I mean, some of these sets are straight up ripped from the video game. And I appreciate that, especially the fact that Kamurocho isn't a real place, but they have constructed the video game locations in real life so authentically that I'm still just so impressed they managed to take things from the games and bring them to life. But then if you're going to go there and have the most unblinkingly, unflinchingly cringy dark story, to me it just doesn't work. It's also because they changed a lot of the major plot points. I'm not going to spoil it. So today they posted the first 3 of 6 episodes, but I've talked to some people that have seen all 6 episodes, and they say it actually gets worse and worse and worse. I do not know why they would even bother making this, because part of the thing about the Yakuza series is that as the games go on, there are all these interesting interconnections between the different clans of the Yakuza, the Dojima clan, the Tojo clan, the Omi Alliance, all these different groups, and how they're battling against the cops and dirty cops. But then, if you're taking major story points like a serial killer that's off in Yakuza and then putting it into all these different time jumps, you never get a chance to actually connect with any of it, to care about any of it, to really reflect on the nature of this. The part that made the games work is having harsh story about some really bad stuff and then getting a chance to have it digest, to sit there and actually reflect, to think about it, to go sit in the arcade and do some silly stuff like throwing darts and kind of reflect on, oh man, this stuff is real. But when it's just this breakneck whiplash pace where everything is just event, reference, callback, next thing, next scene, next time jump, it freaking sucks. Excuse my frustration. I feel like they should have stuck closer to the source material. There are times where shows, movies, games completely change events around, and I'm totally fine with that as long as it connects with the vibe. One of my favorite books that's been turned into a movie is All You Need Is Kill, also known as Edge of Tomorrow, Live, Die, Repeat. They gave it like 15 different names. This has been turned into a comic book, into a movie with Tom Cruise. This is the original novel, an American comic book, a Japanese manga. This has been adapted a bunch of times, and each time they tweak it a little bit. In the movie, they completely change the ending 100%. But you know why it works? Because it still matches the vibe of the original. The Yakuza TV show is not a good entry point to Yakuza. It's not a good entry point to the video games. It's not a good entry point to anything. And I have no idea why they decided to spend so much money making it look so good if they're not going to care about it. Truly baffling. If you're a Yakuza fan, I mean this from the bottom of my heart, do not even bother watching it. My girlfriend and I watch a lot of stuff together because we like to watch Netflix and stuff. So a lot of times we'll watch, the X-Files, and lately we've been watching the Penguin TV show, and it's so good and it introduces so many elements of the Batman universe. It's getting her interested in Batman. That's what a good adaptation does. This show, it's nothing. But what do you guys think about the Netflix TV show? Why do I keep saying Netflix? The Amazon Prime Yakuza. And how do you feel about Like a Dragon as a series? Tell me your thoughts in the comments down below. And please, if you could, give this video a like and subscribe if you haven't already. And please, keep dreaming. Thanks so much for watching that video. If you want to see something else, you can always click this link to see what I put up last, or, subscribe and see what's coming up next. Also, I promise that whatever I do, it'll try not to suck.